they were hunted down in 5 different, they were masked, but they went into a coffee shop, and in the coffee shop their masks were off a few times, and it was caught on video at the university coffee shop. And then the FBI was called in a few days later, and they hunted these people down in 5 different states and arrested them and charged them with terrorism, and they're facing 7 years in jail for something that is, you know, constitutionally protected, handing out leaflets, just protesting outside of a building. So it's obvious that we need to protect our identity as much as we can when things like that is going on.
Masks are also pretty useful too, in the sense that, you know, when you are being tear gas, if you put vinegar or anything really like acid based, it helps neutralize that. And so that's why you'll also commonly find them at black blocs, not only just to conceal identity, but to help neutralize tear gas.
That kid's cool.
And so the unpermitted march continued without confrontation for about 3 or 4 blocks. We got down to, I believe, 37th and Liberty, and there was a police blockade up ahead. And it became pretty apparent, you know, I mean, we had decided this in the plan that we wanted our march to be shifting. And so once we confronted the police gave us a warning that it was an unlawful assembly and that anybody who remained would be subject to chemical weapons.
And then at some point, over the loudspeaker comes this disembodied voice, just this like inhuman voice, this pre-recording.
You must leave. If you do not disperse, you may be arrested and or subject to other police action. Other police action may include actual physical removal, the use of riot control agents and or less lethal munitions.
We all got the warning, and none of us really wanted to stand down. I mean, we weren't doing anything wrong at that point, and it seems almost hypocritical for the police to threaten force against us, even though we had not threatened force against anything else besides the traffic. So it upset a lot of people, especially the people that lived in that area. The siren is going off, and where were they to go? They went in their houses, but that was still within the area. And also when they said to disperse, where exactly should we go? There are police officers on every single road. We had no idea which way was the way we were supposed to go and which way was to go backwards. And most of us were out-of-towners, so they didn't really give us even an option. They kind of just told us to leave, but why? So we stood our ground. The protesters stopped their march. They stood in that one road near that hill, and soon enough, we saw a cloud. We heard a bang.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action. Other police action may include actual physical removal, the use of riot control agents.
Woo! Yeah!
By order of the City of Pittsburgh Chief Police, I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse. You must leave the immediate vicinity. If you remain in this immediate vicinity, you will be in violation of the Pennsylvania crimes.
Hey Fred, stay with me, you know what I mean? Dave!
Nearly illegal weapons. That's nearly lethal weapons. That's what they said. Nearly lethal. So they kind of told the truth. That stuff could kill you. And I keep trying to walk around, getting away from the front, but the cops keep on. There's a cop helicopter circling overhead, and they're like relaying intel to the cops on the ground, telling them exactly where the anarchists are going. So at one point, I'm on this hill. I'm totally lost. I'm totally scared. And then they launch the tear gas. It starts coming up the hill, and I get a bunch, and I'm just like, oh, and I just put the shirt I'm wearing right now, actually, over my face. And I just start running around, and I'm just coughing and stuff. And I see these families outside, and they look so scared. And like, some of them are gripping their children and stuff. And they're like, "Are you part of the protest?" And I'm like, yeah. And this woman just looks at me so frankly. I don't think it was anger. I don't think she was angry. I just think she was scared. But she said, "You never should have came out here."
As long as wealth is what controls the system, there will always be police to protect that wealth. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the poor get the brunt of it.
You're better friends.
I actually met one of my friends that I knew from back home, and right when we were talking, we heard a big bang again. We were really worried because we thought it was the tear gas, but we looked back and we were even more horrified. The window in front of the PNC Bank was destroyed. A rock or a brick or something hurled through the window and broke it to a million pieces. And right there, that was proof enough. We heard sirens coming down the road. Everyone jumped up on the sidewalk. I was on one sidewalk with the legal representatives, the street medics, and all the other journalists. And on the other side were the protesters within the black bloc. The black bloc was walking alongside Liberty Ave when we heard the sirens. They came down the road and immediately, I at that point was actually wearing a bandana and I felt afraid, at least for my identity, so I ran. And all the protesters were funneled into an alleyway on the side of Liberty Ave. On the footage, you can see that at one moment there's protesters on the sidewalk, and on the second moment they're totally gone. And it's because of the fact that they were funneled into this side alleyway. Police cruisers lined the sidewalks, almost like they parked on the side of the sidewalks, jumped out, and a couple SUVs pulled up. Outside of those SUVs, more police officers jumped out, but this time with dogs. About 10 dogs jumped out of the vehicles with them. 2 of them were positioned in the road, 8 of them followed the protesters down the back alley.